Let's face it, getting older sucks. Getting older in the age of social media is even worse. Do you hate it when people tell you to age gracefully? Do you want to know how to live your best life at any age? Well, so do we. First rule, don't call me ma'am. Now, here's Jody Miller.
Hey everyone, welcome to Don't Call Me Ma'am. I'm Jody Miller. Don't fucking call me ma'am. Today, I am so excited for this guest, and I know I say that every time, but today I mean it. I'm just kidding, past guests. So this next guy, I was fortunate enough to meet at a virtual show, which is what the majority of shows are nowadays. And it was at the LA Cat Cafe, and we've done several shows there where we perform from the Cat Cafe. And there are cats all around us, and we do comedy. And I met him there, and I was so excited because he's one of only a few that actually are proud to admit that they're a cat lady. And I say cat lady because you've never heard of a cat man. He is also a very accomplished actor, writer, producer, director. He's amazing. Put your hands together right now. And I know you're not driving anywhere because we're on lockdown again. So put your hands together right now for Nathan Kehn. Yay! I mean, normally I would have meows coming, like, because all the cats would just be meowing as like cheers. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'll work. Okay, good to know. I'm imagining the meows and the clapping.
I'll put it in post. I'll do it in post.
Beautiful.
In post.
Beautiful.
So I don't even think I asked you that night that we were performing. Do you work there, volunteer there?
It's a volunteer thing. So I partnered up with Cat Cafe Lounge 2 years ago, give or take. I'm a terrible calendar, but something like 2 years ago. I reached out to them as my page was growing and was like, hey, I should go, work with some cat cafes, see what they're doing. I could promote them. I can film some cats there. It was kind of a win-win. And so I went over and met Christy, the owner, and it just, we hit it off. And so now I've kind of gone back. I go there and promote them for events and fundraisers they're doing. Or when they did Tiny Beans last year, they needed a handyman and a carpenter to build like the open way, the entryway and all that. And I used to be a handyman and carpenter. So I went and did that for free and built the whole structure and everything for them. And so, yeah, so I just kind of go and help them because, they're doing good work and they're helping cats. So
they're doing good work. For just side note, please go out, adopt a pet, a dog, a cat, a ferret, whatever you want to do. There are so many animals out there that need good homes. And I love places like the Cat Cafe Lounge. There's a million of them. Check any place where you live. Please adopt, go to shelters. It's so important. These animals need a loving family, and you probably need a companion if you're as lonely as me. So, all right, we've got to find out. And I mean, this is like a twofold, okay? Because you obviously used the persona of Nathan the Cat Lady to, move your career forward and, utilize it as for marketing, you know what I mean? Which is brilliant, which is what we all like, which was all we all have to do. I always joke about how, like, when social media came out, like, I'm young enough to know the importance of it, especially for my career, but I'm also old enough to not want to do it. Like, I don't want to do it, but, and I'm sure there are days you wake up and you're like, I just don't want to film anything, but it is a full-time job. It is a full-time job, promoting yourself, getting yourself out there, getting followers, keeping them interested. But before we even get to that, please tell me how you became a cat lady, because you don't wake up one day and you're like, now I want a whole bunch of cats. And usually men just don't even admit it, except my dad. He's a cat lady too.
Nice.
Did you grow up with cats? Tell me your whole cat background.
So I grew up with cats and dogs. Always kind of been an animal lover. I was actually early years was thinking I could either go into like acting, or I was thinking like zoology or something, study big cats, but kind of just fell by the wayside when I started going to school. But I grew up with 3 cats and 2 dogs. And then when I moved to LA, I moved in with somebody who wanted to get a dog. And I was like, no, you barely do the dishes. I know I'm going to have to take care of this dog. And he's like, all right. Came back like a week later. Can I get a cat? And I was like, all right, cat's pretty independent. Sure, get a cat. So he got a cat. Sure enough, I started doing the litter boxes, the feeding, taking care of this thing. But he started getting super depressed, and that's Pickles, my adult male. He started getting super depressed because we both worked a lot of hours. And so I told him, I was like, look, you need to get your cat a friend. I will split it with you, but your cat needs a friend. It'll be your cat. Just so we got Ginger and I split it with him. And after about a week, they were bonded. They were like holding each other to sleep. It was the cutest thing.
Now, hold on a second, really quick. How old was Pickles when you got Ginger? Because for those of you who don't know, when a cat reaches a certain age, it's very difficult to introduce a new cat into the mix. So how old was Pickles?
Pickles, I think, was about 2.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, he was only about 2 years old. So he was still young and playful. And so we got Ginger, and yeah, literally took a week before they were just all over each other. And then a couple of months went by, and my roommate said he was going to move out. And I was like, all right. And I started getting nervous. I was like, he doesn't really like Ginger. He's not really, affectionate with her. And I was like, so you're going to keep them together, right? Like they're bonded. And I'll never forget, he said, well, I might get rid of one of them. Ginger kind of sucks.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, dick. I was like, all right. So I was like, I'm going to take your cats. He was like, really? You want them? And I was like, well, I can't let you split them up. So yeah, I'll take them. And so that's how I got my first 2. And then about a year later, my ex-girlfriend at the time, her mom found a little kitten on the side of the road.
Aww.
Long story short, she bit her mom. I don't blame her.
Wait a minute. Your ex-girlfriend bit her mom or the cat?
The cat.
Okay.
Cat. Yeah, but I don't blame the cat for biting her.
Obviously.
Makes sense.
Cats know, by the way, people.
They
know when you're an asshole. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, so I went over there, and she climbed up my hoodie and fell asleep in my hood. And they were like, well, can you just watch her until we find her a home? So I brought her home, and then Ginger was like, oh, this is mine now, and started grooming her and taking care of her. And I was like, whatever. Because once you have 2, you're a crazy cat lady. It doesn't matter.
It is a slippery slope.
Does not matter. Yeah. Once you have 2, you have 10. That's just cool. And so got that one. And then when I eventually moved in with my roommate that I have now, he had Princess with him and his ex-girlfriend, who I knew Princess like the first week they got her. And so I'd been over there a bunch, and he was like, hey, do you mind if I get Princess from my ex and bring her here too? I was like, why not? Like, we already got 3. What's 4? People already think we have 10. So it doesn't matter.
You literally are your own cat cafe lounge.
Exactly. And it's great. Yeah. So we did that. And then it wasn't even a social media thing at that. I had them for a while. And then I was filming skits to try and build up my Instagram for my career.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it is crucial now. I lost 4 commercials because I didn't have a following.
By the way, and we're going to talk about that because it's disgusting, especially as someone who came from when I started, 25 years ago. I was literally, going like from casting director to casting director in New York. You were just you were just walking from and just dropping off your headshots and resumes, and like social media, like wasn't even a thing. I mean, the internet was barely there. So it was like, you really had to, you had to do the work that way. And now it's all about following. It doesn't matter if you're talented or not. And you are talented. I'm not saying that he's not talented, but it really has nothing to do with that anymore,
Yeah, not at all. I literally went to the casting, the callback, and then got put on a veil for the spot. And then they would say, hey, can we, the producers want to see your Instagram. I was like, why? I only have 700 followers. Like I posted what I had for breakfast this morning and my cat, who cares? And they would drop me from the commercial the next day after seeing my Instagram because I didn't have a following. So I started doing skits, and they were, get a couple of views, whatever. Right. And then I did 2 videos with Princess that a couple of sites picked up and just took off, like 5 million views the first day.
Wow.
And I went from 700 to 16,000 in a month. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did a couple of more skits and did some with the cats, and all these new people were crazy cat people. And they were like, we want to see the cats. We want to see the cats. So I did some with the cats, didn't do so well. Did some with me, didn't do so well. Did some together, and they were like, boom, took off again.
Right.
So I was like, all right, it's they want both of us.
Yeah.
And so when I hit 25K, I was like, all right, I think it's time to make this a brand. Like I want some things that people recognize. Like that's not just Nathan, the guy trying to be an actor. That's something. So tried a couple of names on my stories. I tried Cat Daddy, which I did not know what that meant until all the DMs started flooding in that night of like, ooh, daddy, I need a daddy. Hey, daddy.
That's by the way, that is a category on Pornhub. I'm just saying, I mean, not that I know personally, but I'm just saying I've heard.
Flip your web browser on right now.
Everybody, let's see what Jody was watching last night. All right, so Cat Daddy obviously didn't work.
Yeah, that got too
not
weird.
For what you wanted. It would have worked for other things.
Right. Yeah. But it was like guys, girls, just like everybody. And I was just like, it's too much, too much. So I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I'm a crazy cat lady. I was like, I think I should just embrace it. Because immediately when you hear cat lady, you start laughing because you're like, this guy's a cat lady. So I just decided to switch it to Nathan the Cat Lady, and people loved it. Like day one, they were like, oh my God, the name's so good. And within 2 months, my page doubled from 25K to 50, and it just kept building from there. So
it's incredibly impressive. It is one of those things where, obviously social media, there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons, and there's a lot of good that comes out of it. And there's a lot of really horrific things that come out of it. Mm-hmm. Self-esteem, depression, just a lot of things. But it is a great tool to, move your brand forward, get recognized, put yourself out there. My whole, philosophy is it doesn't matter how you get somewhere. It's what you do when you get there. So right. You're using that tool, which is great, but it is a very fine line because there are a lot of, Insta famous cats, cats of Instagram. I'm friends with Pompous Albert. Settle down, guys. I didn't even know, I actually don't follow a lot of the very well-known cats that are just straight cats that there are their owners aren't in the videos. Do you know what I mean? Right. So it is a fine line. It's like, how do you know? I've got these cats, they're funny, they're fun.
I tried some with just the cats and I tried some with just me, and it didn't work until I had them together.
Right.
And I remember there was one video where I finally was like, I'm going to try just doing a combined skit. And I did a video back and forth where I was telling Pickles that he was getting fat. And it was this super serious thing of him looking, just cutting back and forth. And I shot it like I would a regular acting scene.
Right.
I had 2 shots and all this, and people loved it. They're like, oh my God, we need more of these. And I was like, okay. So that was the one that was like, this is how we're going to do it from now on. And it kind of grew from there, but it definitely was trial and error. Yeah,
seriously. It's very impressive. And I love that your cats are so willing to be, be on camera, because my cat is not. He's so miserable. He's not a miserable cat to me, right. But he hates the camera. He hates when I try to pose, with him or do anything. Every time I post anything with my cat, all the comments are like, your cat is so angry. He's beautiful. He's an Abyssinian, so he's stunning. And people are like, what kind of cat is that? But why does he look like he wants to kill someone? I'm like, that's just his face. That's his happy face. He's his angry murder face is his happy face. And I unfortunately made the mistake when I got him. Well, first of all, I was I moved to LA. My cat that was so half Maine Coon, half Tabby, so lovey. He would have loved being on social media. He was just the best cat. He died young of lung cancer, which is so weird because he stopped smoking 2 years before. So I was I never let him smoke in the house, people. So he died at he died at 10, which is young for a cat. And so when I got this guy, I first of all was well, I'm single, so I don't want to get more than one, because one you can explain. You can be look, I've got one. I don't have time for a dog. That's the explanation. I can't. And then people are like, okay, but any more than one, then you're a crazy cat lady. And so I decided to get one. I had the opportunity to get him and his sister, but honestly, I also was I want him to only bond with me. And guess what? He only bonded with me and hates every other human that comes by. It's hilarious. I got exactly what I wanted, and I'm still single, so I might as well have just gotten 5. But here's the thing. If I had, so you have 4 cats now, right?
Yeah.
4 cats. I have 1, which people don't believe. I also have an outdoor cat that's adopted me. She's feral. She doesn't let me touch her. Callie, she's awesome. But I can't touch her, and I can get close to her, but that's
close-ish.
Yeah. Yes, close-ish. She'll sniff my finger and then she gets really freaked out. I think I've grazed her twice and she's been like, what is that? She's just never been touched. For those of you who don't know, a feral cat is different than a stray cat. Usually feral cats have never been touched by a human, so they will most likely never be touched by a human. Yeah. But she loves me as much as she can. Anyway, I have 1 cat, you have 4, and you're still more fuckable than I am. It's just, you could have 20 and you could have like a beer. It doesn't matter. Like it's all, and it's so funny to me. So let me ask you a question. I mean,
Okay.
have you ever had any girls that are like, oh my God, 4 cats? Absolutely not. Or has that never been a problem for you?
Oh, that has 100% been a problem for me.
Oh, it has. Okay, tell me.
Yeah, no, my last relationship, one of the deciding factors was she didn't want to live with cats.
Oh, really?
And we're getting to that point where it was like, it'd been a year and a half, you know, and she was like, well, like, I think we should start talking about moving in together, but I don't want to live with cats. What are we going to do about that? And I was like, they were here first. It was kind of one of those, like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I love these guys. Like, I'm not getting rid of them.
Why didn't you want to live with cats? Can I just ask?
She just didn't like cats. I don't know. She had some stuff. I don't know. She just didn't like cats. And and she's not the only one. Like, I've been on dating apps where it was fun. So we actually launched a dating app for cat lovers this year called Tabby.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's literally a dating app just for cat lovers. And the week we launched, a girl from another dating app sent me a message to try and match with me. And I looked at her page. The first thing on her page was, don't hate me if I hate cats.
What?
And I was like, I have 4 cats in my dating profile. Why would you think this is going to work? And why is that such a big thing in your life that has to be like number one? Like, guys, of all the things about me, I hate cats.
Yes.
What cat hurt you? Where did the cat touch you? Show me on the doll. I want to know.
Show me on the cat. Let me tell you, listen to this. That bothers me so much that, and I see it on every dating app I'm on. There's always like one out of every like 4th guy that I might swipe on he has listed somewhere, does not like cats. Do not message me if you have a cat. Don't want any cats. Cat owners, no. Here's the thing. If I put on my dating app, do not like dogs. Do not mess. I would get so much hate. Like, you can't say you don't like, if you don't like a dog, you're a monster.
Yeah, that's like being a Republican in 2020. Like, you just don't talk about it. You just don't talk about it. You
can't talk about it. We should just be quiet about it. When people are like, oh, cats, gross, you're just like, okay. I mean,
you could have been mauled by a pack of dogs as a child and almost died. If you say you don't like dogs, you're a monster.
You don't have a soul. That's what it is. Also, I watch my friends, not only do my friends bring their dogs everywhere, like everywhere. I don't actually want to bring my cats everywhere. I have a cat for a reason, because he's sleeping right now. And I play with him when I play with him. He's adorable when he's adorable. I can leave the house and be like, see you later. I don't want to bring him everywhere. So my friends will bring their dogs everywhere and show pictures of them all the time. I show one picture of my cat, or someone looks at my homepage on my phone and they're like, whoa, settle down, you crazy fucking cat lady. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I never understood how people are like, they're 4-legged fuzzy creatures. It's like the same thing as a dog. Like, would you rather have a little yappy chihuahua who's like barking all night, keeping up the neighbors? No. Like, don't get me wrong. I love dogs. I'm not bashing dogs. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, every time I talk to people who are like, oh, I don't like cats. Like, have you been around a cat? Well, my friend had a cat once and it swatted at me. That's your reasoning? Turn on the news and tell me how many dog maulings you see, and tell me how many cat maulings you see. Then we'll start talking.
Cat swattings. I've been swatted.
Yeah, exactly. A lady had her hand swatted by a cat today. She may recover. I'd like, shut up.
We don't know, but she definitely has PTSD. I have 2 friends that were not cat guys at all and are now full blown on the other side. Because let me tell you, people, for those of you listening right now and watching, and you're like, I'm never going to be a cat lover, Jody, stop trying to do it. When a cat loves you, and I do love dogs, but when a cat loves you, it means more. It just does. I don't care what anyone says. Dogs pretty much love everyone. And that's great. That's what we love about dogs. But when a cat really loves you, it is like, it's like having a teenage girl, really. It's like having a teenage girl give you a compliment. There's nothing better than a girl who's like 14 and is like, you look really good today. That's the best compliment you can ever get. It's the way you feel when a cat loves you. I don't know if you guys
you have to earn it. Like, you can't just run up and be like, here's a treat, you'll love me for the rest of your life. No, you got to earn that little respect, and then eventually they'll give you little treats where they're like, all right, I like you. And they'll come up.
I mean, it might not be all at once. They might give you a headbutt. I mean, also,
exactly.
I mean, there's nothing cuter than a kitten. I'm sorry. It literally goes in the order of cuteness. Kittens, puppies, cats, dogs, in my opinion. Unless the dog looks like a cat, then it's okay.
Fair. my favorite debate though is when girls are like, well, like cat guys, because I think they make a good father. Let me debunk that right now and tell you why cat dads are going to be way better fathers. All right. A dog is going to love you no matter what. You can train it to do whatever you want, and it'll do it because you're in charge, you're whatever. Cats, they're going to knock crap off the counter, and you got to keep your cool. They're going to break things. They're going to do what they want to do, and you got to be patient and understanding and work with them. A little kid, a little 2-year-old is not going to sit and shake and do what he's supposed to. A little 2-year-old is going to be a cat. So you get a cat dad who can have their cat knock a glass off the counter, watch it break, and go, all right, better clean it up. Like, that's the dad you want. You don't want someone who's like, oh yeah, they sit, they shake, and they do whatever I tell them to do. It's like, yeah, good luck. Good luck when your kid says no.
You know what, I am kind of shocked though that you've had some of that prejudice that I've had for sure with cats. And you know what? I think a lot of people don't like cats because they're allergic to cats, and they automatically are like, well, I don't like them. And look, I get it if you're allergic to something, which by the way, you can develop an immunity. I know a lot of people that have cats that still, are slightly allergic to them, but it's really interesting that they just don't like them because they're allergic to them. And my philosophy is like, that's survival of the fittest. If a cat can take you out, then maybe you don't deserve to be here.
There it is. You know what? I'm going to sit over here with my cats and my bag of peanuts. And, you peanut and cat allergy people, just find you another, I'm going to sit with my PB&J and my kitties.
If I can take down a terrorist with a cat because he's allergic to it, then I've got the power, in my opinion.
Also, a lot of that is crap too, because someone was telling me it's less than like 10% of the population who's allergic, and somehow every other person I meet is allergic to cats, and it's
because that's the way they get out of saying it, because they don't want to seem like a monster, even though they're not, even though it's, you know what I mean, they're in, the popular group, although there are more cat owners than dog owners. Here's the thing, I've done a lot of research about cats through the years for several projects, and there are 2 reasons that we are called crazy cat ladies, or, the reasonings, the history behind the crazy cat lady theory. And one is the, inhaling of the litter. That's why they say pregnant women should be around litter. There's a word for it, which is very long and I can't remember, but it causes psychosis. If particles from cat litter that has urine in it or soil, like if you inhale it, not that anybody's inhaling the litter, it can cause like rage and anger, like road rage. It can cause nothing like insane, but it can cause you that's one of those things. But it's also a very small percentage of people actually suffer from that. But more importantly, cats were considered like part of like the work of the devil. They were the companions of witches, and they thought everyone was a witch, and the cats were there to do their bidding. So they exterminated all of the cats. And unfortunately, the Black Plague was spreading, and it was getting spread by rodents.
Yeah.
So when they exterminated all the cats, these rodents were running free, and all of these, so many people died. Millions of people died because the cats weren't there to kill the rodents to stop the plague. Guess who brought cats back into the city limits to help with the Black Plague? You know what I mean? So it's like, but those are the 2 reasons that we're labeled that. But yes, nobody ever talks about like dog maulings and humpings and all that stuff.
And what's funny too is, they talk about, people like, oh wow, I can't believe people thought cats were witches and devils. People still do that.
I know.
People don't buy black cats because they're superstitious. They kill cats around Halloween time because they're black cats because of that. Like, people are still that stupid. Not only like TNR, they're fighting a huge TNR battle right now in Los Angeles or in California, because they've got all these sanctions in place to make it so you can't do TNR, because the bird people, I'm going to call them the bird people, got to them first and said, cats kill all of our birds. We need to kill all the cats. So we got to make it so you can't do TNR and can't do all this. We got to just kill them.
Oh my
God. Then the
TNR
TNR people came in and said, no, if we do TNR, which for you guys don't know, that's trap, neuter, release. So basically you take them, you spay and neuter them so they don't procreate, and they were like, no, you don't do that. You just kill them. So right now we can't really TNR. So the cat population is skyrocketing. And it's like, guys, are you you fix them, less breeding, less cats, more birds. But there's some disconnect there. So people have not gotten smarter. If that's
No, definitely not. So let me ask you a question, because this is so interesting to me, because I just TNR'd two. When I moved into this house a year and a half ago, and a registry goes out, for those of you who don't know, when a single woman over 40 moves into a neighborhood, like the cats get a registry and they're like, oh, she lives here. And then they all just show up.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me. It's like the sex offender registry. It's just,
I was gonna say, you got to knock on the doors and let the neighbors know too.
Yes,
But,
it's for single people over 40. The cats know, and they're like, let's go. So one came, Callie, and then when we were really on lockdown, I started noticing a few more. Callie's like sleeps here, lives here. She's just in my backyard all the time. But then I started noticing a couple more, and Callie I knew had already been fixed. And the way you know is if they have a clipped ear. So she has one ear that is surgically snipped. So it wasn't like a fight. She was surgically snipped. So I knew that she was already fixed and we were good to go there. But this other orange tabby started showing up, and I called him Buddy Big Balls. I had two cats, Tommy Big Balls and Buddy Big Balls, and I have lots of videos of them. Their balls were so big that I was like, how are you even walking? But Buddy Big Balls was like spraying my backyard, and he was eating, but he's spraying my backyard. So a friend of mine who does, trap and release, trap, neuter, and release, she came over with a cage, and we had to like slowly get him. He was not having any of it. It was more traumatizing for me than it was for him, but we got him. He was really healthy. They fixed him. Unfortunately, they didn't snip his ear, and they brought him back to me, and I'm like, oh my God. I noticed afterwards, but he already taken off. Yes. He comes by every once in a while now, but he's a totally different cat. He's much heavier and much more scared because he doesn't have his balls. But the other cat, Tommy Big Balls, he was also an orange tabby. He might have been a stray, because he used to run away like every time I came out, and then would just come back and eat and then run again. And then one day I just put my hand out for him to smell, and he put his head under my hand, and that's a learned behavior. So he let me pet him, and then he was, here all the time, and he was so affectionate, but he was like covered in fleas, and I have a house cat. So it's like every time you touch an outdoor cat, you got to come in, wash your hands. You cannot touch your cat. I didn't know what he had. So I was very easy to capture him. So I was thinking about actually adopting him, because I fell in love with him, and he was super cute, but it turns out he's feline leukemia positive, which is fine. He would just have to be in a household, because I had a cat growing up that was also positive. It was an outdoor cat that became an indoor cat, but lived until she was 25. So he was positive, so I couldn't keep him. And also he had really bad, like, gum disease. He was only like 6. They had to remove all his teeth. I felt so bad. I'm like, this is horrible what I've just done to this cat. But they were like, no, you really saved his life. He would have died a horrible, terrible death from gum disease. Oh, they removed all his teeth. I'm thinking, who's going to adopt this cat? And guess what? Like an older couple living in Santa Monica fell in love with him, and now he has the best life. Oh, gums his food, swallows it right down. You can't even. He's so happy. I get pictures and updates. So I saved 2 cats. Great.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about this last night in my Zoom after party. Cats that have like
your Zoom after party for cats.
Well, so we do every week. I host a Wine Wednesday live stream where I ride a hoverboard and drink a bottle of wine and just live stream.
That sounds so safe.
Yeah, I've fallen once. It's fine. So yes, I do that every Wednesday, and then we started doing an after party where you can buy tickets for a Zoom party where it's just me and 20 other people. And we were talking about it because one of my buddies, he goes by the Trap King on social media. He does TNR for a living. Was saying that cats with like 3 legs or like a big scar or missing all their teeth actually get adopted way faster, because people kind of like, 1, they feel bad, and 2, it kind of makes them unique, a little more unique. Mm-hmm. So they actually get adopted like that, which is pretty cool.
I should try that like on a dating app. I should just pull out all my teeth and see if I get, you know what I mean? If I find somebody.
Your first thing, I have no teeth.
I have no teeth and a giant scar down my face, but I'm unique. Anybody? Any takers?
It's better than saying you have a cat, honestly.
It honestly is. Oh my God, you're so right. I could be like, I murdered someone, and they'd be like, oh God. And then I'd be like, I have a cat. They're like, what?
Inside Edition, like this is like national news. Inside Edition reached out and said, "Hey, a study just came out that shows guys with cats get swiped left on more than girls or than people without." They just did a whole study on it. Like, would you be willing to get interviewed on the air about this? And I was like, is it really gotten to the point where this is national news? That I was like, all right, let's do it. So I literally did this interview, and they had a girl in there. She's like, I would never date a cat guy. They're just so unmasculine and this. And I was like, okay. And I did this interview, and, you know, I defended the cat people, but I was just amazed that it had become such a thing that it became national news. I was like, there are countries dying, and we're talking about that you don't like guys with cats. Like,
I mean, for some people that is life or death. That is incredible that was national news. Having said that, I am slightly guilty of. First of all, I love it when a guy is on a dating app and I see his cat in his photo. It always just like cracks me up, especially if it's a really funny cat or he's doing something funny. But just a cat in a photo, I'm like, ooh, my tribe. But I have to be honest, a lot of guys that do have cats, sometimes are not my type. And I'm like, oh, like I love you as like my cat tribe person, but like I've definitely met some cat guys that are a little quirky, a little bit too quirky for me, have a little bit too much cat paraphernalia. Like it's funny because my dad was never a cat person, and now he has so many cats. That sort of happened by accident when he got remarried, and they had so many cats, and he's got tons of cat paraphernalia. I have cat Buddha, but I have a lot of gifts, but my house isn't like decorated in like cat things. You know what I mean? So it is a fine line. It's okay to be like, okay, that person's a little too cray, a little too, but I try never to, I would never actually just swipe because I saw a cat or a dog. Actually, no, that's not true. I have swiped left on a lot of guys because every picture has their dog in it and everything is about their dog. And I'm like, this guy's never going to want to stay at my house. He's always going to have to go home and walk that dog. That dog is coming everywhere with us. That dog and its bad breath is coming everywhere with us and licking everything. And also that dog is not going to get along with my cat.
Yeah. And, you know, I there are the kooky, crazy cat guys that everything they have is cat, but I will counter that with, I know girls that put their cat or their dogs in a different outfit for every day, carry them in their purse. And I was watching a show the other day. It was like crazy contests around the world. It's some show on Netflix. And one of them was dog dancing. And it shows all these people dancing with their dogs and dance routines. And I was like, okay, if cat people get crap because we love cats,
dog people should too.
What the heck? Yeah. It's either we all get crap for being too obsessed or none of us do.
Yeah. By the way, cat videos are the #1 videos watched on the internet. Cats, not dogs, cats.
100%.
People, we can go down a cat video like rabbit hole. I could spend hours in there. And also, it's like I follow Emergency Kittens on Twitter because whenever I'm having a bad day, I just look on that feed and I'm like super happy.
Yeah, no.
Now there is definitely like, there are a couple people on Instagram that I can't remember her name. There's this one, I think it's out of Japan. She lives in Japan. A lot of Asian accounts have like so many cats. This woman has 12, I believe, either Himalayans or they're massive, or Persians, they're long haired. I'm pretty sure she has 12 of them. And that's how she's a lot of followers. And it's insane. Those videos are like, but her house looks spotless. I'm like, 12 cats with all that hair is like, that to me is like too much. But I can tell you, I definitely, like you, I got to a point in my career where I was like, look, I'm only going to go at this for a few more years. And if not, I'm just going to like have a cat sanctuary somewhere. Like I'm just going to breed and sell Savannah cats and then have a cat sanctuary, make some money and then have a cat sanctuary.
Yeah. And I'm still not opposed to that idea. Like, now that I've got the cat thing going now, it's kind of, I used one to build up the acting, but now I'm like, well, maybe I'll just keep building both and just, see which one happens. But I'd love to have like a cat cafe or a sanctuary or something like that.
I mean, it really does. For stuff like that, it really does a lot of good. But like, Like, yeah, for me, I mean, social media has definitely been, I've had a love-hate relationship with it. And again, the older I get, it's more like, it's just so exhausting. It's like I said it earlier, it's a full-time job for you to post. If you stop posting, let's say for a short period of time, like I just wrapped a show. So I was on a show working on a show for a new game show for Fox for 6 weeks. And it was incredibly intense. And I worked every day and it was around the clock. And, you know, production was just insane. And I barely posted anything. Like I'm also a host of a television show. So that's the only days that I would post because I was able to post there and I had, you know, someone taking those pictures. But I lose followers and I don't have nearly as many as you, but I lose followers when I'm not posting content and it's exhausting. At least, I mean, I at least look at you and I'm like, you have your cats, which is definitely so great because it's like, if it's like, did you find it was harder when before the cats to just post like fun videos of you doing stuff?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like when it was just me, I still feel weird. Because like you, I didn't like the whole social media thing when I started. I was like, this is dumb. Like, I don't care enough about myself to show the world myself all the time, you know? And even now, if I have to do a story, even if I'm in an event where they brought me, they're like, hey, we're bringing you as a special guest. If I have to do a story there, I will sneak around the corner and be like, hey guys, I'm at this event, blah, blah, blah. Because I feel like a douchebag pulling out my phone and going, like,
oh my God, I so get that.
I can do selfies if I have a cat with me. If it's a cat, I'm like, all right, the attention's on the cat. I feel so weird just posting like, this is me. I can't do it. So with the cats, at least I can be like, let's do a skit. Let's do that, you know, something other than just look at my face. Like, I can't do it. And it's, you know, and I'm not a girl. I can't like bend over and put an inspirational quote underneath it and justify it, you know?
Well,
so
nobody should be doing that, by the way. Nobody should be bending over and putting anything that's other than look at my ass, because that's exactly what they're saying.
If you put poetry underneath it, it's no longer, you know, slutty. It's actually inspirational.
It's inspirational. That's right. Yeah. But at the end, it should be look at my ass. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. I definitely take a lot of pictures of my cat's ass. I don't know if you do this, but my cat has a heart-shaped ass. Like
oh, that's perfect.
It's designed for picture taking. My friends think it's very funny. It's slightly weird. And I've actually never said this on my podcast before, but I say, like you when you look at your pets, everyone, and they're so cute, you get that like, oh, like this, people get that with babies too. You just want to like squeeze them and say things that are like insane. And the shit I say to my cat is so insane. It doesn't even make sense. But like, if anybody heard it, if they were walking past my house and they heard the stuff I was saying to my cat, they would probably call like animal services. Like there would be the shit
I say dark stuff to my cat, and like things don't even make sense because they only know your how you're saying it. It doesn't matter what you say.
They don't know what the words we're saying are.
Princess over here, like if she'll come up and roll on the ground looking super cute, and sometimes instead of being like, oh, she's being cute, I'll just be like, you're such a dirty slut. Like I love it. Stuff, yes. It's like I would never show people that I'm saying that, but for something, it's just something about it. Like, you're just such a slut looking for attention. Like you say dark stuff to your cats, but they don't know. They're like, oh, he's happy.
They're so happy. My favorite thing to say to Jersey, who's my cat, is my friends know this and think it's hilarious. He like, you know, he'll lay down, he'll sprawl out waiting for me. He'll like turn his head upside down. He's waiting for me. His whole body's exposed. That's what they do. They want you to come over. And on the daily, I look at his face and his mouth because he's got like the black eyeliner, he's got black lips, black nose. I look at his face all the time and I go, I will fuck that mouth. I say that all the time. And if anybody heard me, it doesn't even make sense. It's not even possible. But I say it all. I go, I will fuck that mouth right now. And he gets so excited when I say that. He starts, because he only knows the tone that I'm speaking in. Yeah. So he knows that when I say that I'm about to come over there and stick my mouth in his tummy. And he's just purring and purring and purring. Like he has no idea. He doesn't know. I don't even know why that phrase even pops up in my head. Why do I even say that? I have no idea. But like, I'll take close-up pictures of that mouth. I'll be like, look at that mouth. Like it's just ready.
Oh, and see that's the side of cat people that people don't really know. Like we say,
well, that's the side of cat
stuff to our
people
pets.
that's why we have the reputation. They're like, what did
And
you
that
just
might
say?
be it, yeah, because we just say some just dark stuff to our cats, but it's because they're so damn cute and they're awesome. Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one though that just says like super messed up stuff to my cats. That's good.
Who says wait, who says that? What'd you say?
I said I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Oh, you're not.
Weird stuff to their cat.
Oh my
That's
God,
awesome.
you're so not. It's like I can't even help it. Like, oh yeah, like Jersey's always spreading his legs, and I'm like, don't give it away. I'm always like, the shit I say to him, like, yeah, he has no idea what any of it means, but he doesn't care. It's like he's automatically excited about it.
It's all tone based, and I guarantee you, Pickles had said some really dark stuff to me because I can hear it in his tone. He does it to me too. It's totally fine. He's said some messed up stuff to me, so it's fine.
So now Princess is the one with 2 different color eyes, correct?
Right.
So it is true though, an all white cat with blue eyes, they're deaf? Is that?
They say a lot of the
that.
times, but I had a white cat growing up, Snowflake, and she had 2 blue eyes, and she could still hear. Like
totally
she'd
fine.
hear us walking, like come down the stairs, and she'd come running. Like so, I think it happens a lot. And she's definitely not deaf. She ignores us on purpose. Like you'll be saying her name, and she'll kind of do the
right,
and then she'll go back like I don't care what you have to say, but she can hear us. So
tell me about some of your merch because you've got some good cat merch.
Oh, you say talk about my merch?
Yeah, tell me about.
Talk.
Yeah, I went on your site and I saw like all your cat stuff, which like
I got a whole bunch of stuff.
So impressive.
I was gonna grab my cat lady hat. Is it right here? No. So I've got a whole line of cat lady hats that are just hats that say cat lady on it and fancy cursive writing. I've got shirts with Pickles on it. We had a whole Pickles for President.
Is Pickles the most like social media famous?
Yeah, it started out with Princess was the one who kind of got it going. And then once people started to get to know Pickles and his attitude and how he like yells at me all the time, because we get in arguments all the time and film it. And so once people started seeing us argue with each other, it was like Pickles just took off. And so he's the one who's on, but all the cats are on their own little merch. I've got them on different shirts. And then also I've got just generic cat shirts, and like I'm just launching all my Christmas stuff right now.
And by the way, there'll be links to everything in my bio with your stuff too, which is, I mean, like it's something you were able to find something and run with it. And it obviously has helped your professional career.
Oh, 100%. I'm shooting a movie starting Tuesday, and I found out from my agent, the deciding factor, because it was down to me and a couple other people, is my agent was like, by the way, you should check out his Instagram. And they wrote me like, hey, we checked it out. He's the guy. And so that was like the deciding factor was just that I had the social media page. So, I
mean, animals aside, it is definitely like, while I don't agree that people should or should not get specific things based on your social media, and that goes to like comedy, acting, you know, the fact that they give, you know, TikTok stars their own shows to me is insane and really insulting to people that have worked really long time on their craft. Having said that though, let's say, you know, cats, animals, you know, gimmicks aside, it is an amazing, all of these are amazing platforms for us to showcase our talent when you don't have any other opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? It gives you the opportunity to be like, hey, look what I can do. And that's definitely helped a lot of people, which is a great thing. Having said that, it adds that extra, you know, pressure to, oh my God, I've got to make, you know, more videos. I've got to get more PR. I've got to keep, you know, it's so difficult. There's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, it's an insane amount, you know, people just assume, they're like, oh, Nathan, you just have the most relaxed life. You just pet cats all day because that's what they see on my stories. Like if you saw my to-do list for the day, I've actually started physically making lists because keeping it in my head was too much. But you know, once you start getting sponsors, then I have TikTok and I have Instagram. So I've got videos for each, and then I've got merchandising now. So I have to do the emailing and the ordering and all that. And then it's like, you start getting these lists of things to do. And then on top of that, you have to keep up with sending people messages and responding to people and keeping people happy. And some people, they get so, I just got not lectured, but some someone sent me a thing because they saw me foam rolling on my story the other day.
Right.
And they're like, oh, you should try doing it like this. And then responded to a bunch of other stuff I did. And I just, every once in a while, open up DMs and I was like, oh, okay, cool. To the last thing they sent me.
Right.
They sent me a video today being like, well, here's a video on how to do it. I would have helped you more, but you just dissed me. And I was like, sorry, how did I diss you? And they're like, well, you clearly just looked at all these things I sent you and then ignored them. And I was like, look, I respond to about 100 people a day. And that is, I need to be doing more. Like I'm about to hire an assistant because I don't have time to do a lot of this stuff, to like invoicing and all that. And people will get mad. They'll be like, why didn't you respond to me yesterday? Why are you such a dick? You think you're so cool now? I'm like, I don't think I'm cool. I just can't respond to 500 people a day. I just can't, I physically can't do it. My brain hurts after about the first 50.
That's really great that you do respond to so many people. I try to keep my response to a lot of people because I think I get way creepier DMs than you do and comments, depending on whatever photo I post. And it's like when you open that door, it's that door's open and and then you can get some like really nasty, scary people that there's been a lot of people that I've had to block just because it's just for no reason. They've just decided to attack
I have one that I can't even open her messages anymore because it started off with just like, hey, I love your cats, blah, blah. I was like, oh, great, thank you. Next day, hey, I'm doing this today. What are you up to? And I watch them because I don't open them because I don't want them to see red.
Right.
But I'll see it, be like, hey, you didn't respond to me yesterday. Is everything okay?
Oh my God.
Something? Fine. I hate you. You're garbage. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, sorry. I kind of lost my cool.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love that picture. And it's daily, all the time. And then when I do open it, they've gone back and erased everything. But it's like, I see what you're putting. And I blocked them one time because they started just going on this rant, calling me names and all this. I was like, I'm over it. And I blocked them and then started getting messages from others saying it was her mom. And I was like, I'm so sorry. She's crying, blah, blah. And I was like, look, I'll add you back, but stop. Like, I can't handle that negativity when I'm like trying to respond to it. Like it gets pretty dark in the DMs and comments sometimes. Like people don't realize, like people get super messed up. And I feel like I'm fortunate. It doesn't happen much for me. I know some people who they dabble a little bit more on, like, I try and avoid politics. Yes. I avoid controversy.
Yes.
I'm here for cats and entertainment. The rest of the stuff can piss off for all I care. I don't care, and even people will just get so mean. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, they don't care. They've got 300,000 followers. I could get 100 amazing compliments and one person craps on me that day. My day is tanked.
But that's what I mean. And that's what I mean by, like, I can feel the exact same way. That's definitely like a horrible side of the social media is that we are doing a lot of what we're doing just as, entertainment, just to make people happy, put a smile on someone's face. And we're doing it for us because we enjoy doing it. Yeah. We enjoy posting something that we find funny. And a lot of people might love it. And it's that one person that takes offense to it. And that can damage someone, you know what I mean? It can ruin your day. I mean, you might just have a bad day, but there might be somebody out there. There are a lot of people out there that their whole worlds revolve around that kind of validation when they're posting things. Like, I can't imagine being a kid today growing up with this, because we can both remember before Instagram. We remember before Facebook, you know what I mean? Before likes.
Being happy.
Yes, exactly. We can both remember being happy. Yes. And not having to worry about how many, what's this engagement over here? How is this doing over there? How's this performing? How many likes do I have? Have I done enough? We could just live in the present and, take a funny photo of our cat and show it to our friends at a gathering. There are no more gatherings either. So, but I mean, so we remember what it was like before that, but kids today,
I don't know how they're going to do it. I was watching this documentary out right now called the Social Dilemma.
I watched it. It's scary.
It's terrifying because
terrifying.
Like, you're basing your whole image and what people think of you based on filters and bull crap that you put on social media.
Everything.
And it's like,
it's not reality. None of it's reality. we're all creating an illusion that makes us look happier and more successful, and not doing it maliciously. Just like, look at this. I mean, there are so many people that friends of mine that I'm following that I'm like, oh my God, they look like they're doing so well and having, such a great time. And then I talk to them and I'm like, you're killing it. And they're like, well, not really. And you forget that it's all it's like a
the world is becoming a high school reunion is what it is. Everybody's
really is.
making up this elaborate, like, oh, I'm doing this and
doing so well.
It was actually funny. Like a month ago, I was just spiraling out here just because, so much work and funny and posts and all that. Yeah. But in quarantine, I'm not getting to see like anybody. Yes. I've got my roommate, but it's just like I'm so used to having people over like every weekend, game nights and movie nights, and just not having that energy to pull from. I was just spiraling out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I got to keep it going. Like, obviously no one else is really feeling this. And I saw this other big influencer put up a TikTok and he was like, am I the only one who's just not okay right now? Like, I'm just, I don't know I just don't feel okay. And I started looking and I was like, all these other people. And I was like, dude, so I did a video too. I was like, me too. Like, this has been horrible. Like, and all these people were like, I had no idea. Like, that's so good. I'm like that too. And it was funny having all the people, like once somebody was willing to admit it, everybody was like, yeah, honestly, no, things are not good. Right. And I was like, okay, good. So it is everybody, but we're all just putting on an Instagram front.
It is. And it's, the state of the world right now. And, the fact that it's been almost a year, which I don't think anybody thought it was, I mean, except for probably the scientists and doctors, but I mean, everybody else thought, 6 weeks, maybe a month and a half, 2 months, oh my God, by summer, it's going to be gone. Definitely by fall. Like, I mean, it's scary. And, coming off of a show that was great because I was actually able to go to set and you're going to be able to go to set and you see people again. And then you remember what it's like to feel normal. But all of us are coming out of this with a form of PTSD because we've been secluded. And you have a roommate. I live alone. Ooh. And it was very damaging in the beginning. It was really hard for me because I'm also a very social person and I perform normally on stage all the time and work on a show. Like, I'm surrounded by people all the time. I love my alone time, but I was missing that so much. We all are. It's really, really hard. And when we do come out of this, there is going to be a lot of residual trauma, like, as far as social situations again and being around people. And I feel like I'm thankful for social media during COVID, but I also feel like it has actually disconnected us even more from other people. Like,
for sure.
Right? Because
I'm nervous to go to a group of people again and like in person, like start up a conversation again. Like it sounds stupid, but it's like,
no, of course.
Been a long time. Like I went 2 months ago for my birthday. I finally was like, I need to leave. And I went to Nashville. I have a friend in Nashville. I was like, I'm going to go stay there. We're going to go out. Like, I just have to. And being in a bar around people again, like it was fun, but I was like, oh, that's like, it was just.
Their bar. I didn't know their bars were open.
At the time, they closed a week after I was out there. So
because of your party, that's why.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. We spread.
You're a super spreader.
Oh my gosh, I was spreading it left and right now.
You're like, it's my birthday. I'm just gonna spread it everywhere.
Spreading it.
I haven't been in a bar. I've not been in a bar since this happened. Since the day before shutdown, I was in New York. I performed in New York, and me and Jamie Kennedy, we were both performed together, and then we went out to a bar and a restaurant. And then that was it. And then the world shut down literally the next day. We were in the air flying back to LA. And I was getting all these texts like, do not come into the office when you get back. It was like crazy. Like, the whole world shut down. No, I remember. So when this first started and we thought it was going to be like a month or 2 months, I remember thinking, well, maybe this is good because we're so fixated on our phones and social media. Maybe now, because we can't see our friends and family, the next time we're out, we won't automatically go to our phones. We'll engage in person. I thought this might be a good thing. It will remind us to stay present. Cut to 9 months later, 10 months later, we rely so much on social media now to keep us connected. Yeah. We're actually more disconnected.
Oh, we've basically we've given an addict just a plethora of drugs, no other distractions, do nothing but drugs for 9 months. Like, I'm so hooked to my phone. I've tried to get a lot better at putting it down because those first 3 months, They even started talking about studies about what was it called? It was like a digital concussion.
Oh my God.
Basically, it's looking at your phone too long. Your brain gets disoriented because it doesn't realize when it sees movement and stuff. It doesn't understand why they're moving and you're not.
Oh my
and it
God.
can cause like concussion-like symptoms where you're kind of disoriented and dizzy. And I was like really starting to feel that the first few months. I was like, and I saw a video about that, and I was like, I gotta put this down a little bit. So
Holy
like,
shit.
I tried to like distance myself. But again, being in social media, I got to respond to
You have to do
a
that.
bunch of people today. I have sponsors, I have emails, I have to watch my own videos to make sure they're doing well. With TikTok, I got to see what's trending. I got to watch the, like, so I have to be on it, but it's like, yeah, 9 months of this. And now it's like, even in person, I'll be talking to people and I'm like checking my phone. I'm like, Okay. And it's like, God, I got to stop. Just like, throw it away.
It's really like intense. 6 years ago, I was doing a military tour, and on the bases that we were at, we were like, you know, Guantanamo Bay, Honduras, Greenland. The Wi-Fi was very spotty. So we really couldn't post like a lot until we got to a place that there was some, but it was amazing. Because at first we were all like, we couldn't check anything, but then it was, right. Oh, that's right. This is what it's like to be present and actually enjoy what I'm doing right now without constant, there was nothing we could do. We couldn't look. There was nothing to look at. So we were actually, and I remember that, like, I was saying something to a girl who's like in her early 20s yesterday. Like, for us, we remember, like, when we were younger, if you broke up with someone, unless you ran into them at a party or a bar, that was it. Like, you broke up. Unless they called you or you ran into them. It wasn't like, let me see what they're doing tonight. Let me check their social. Let me check that. Like, you can't ever get over anyone now. You can't, you know what I mean?
You spiral out with those where it's like, oh, who just responded on there? Are they saying that person now? Who's this person in that photo with them? And you can track the rest of their life. And it sounds stalker, but it's like, when it's right there,
can't help it.
And everyone can say like, oh, that's stalker. Like, you can't tell me right after you break up with someone, you're not like, it's right there. I can see.
It's right there. Who's that person? Then you tap on the photo, then you see that person's name, then you go to their account, then you see all their photos, and you find another photo that your ex is in that photo. Then you look at that. Then you look
in their driveway for hours watching them. Yeah, no.
Well, that was me in high school. I definitely drove past my ex-boyfriend's houses like all the time.
Oh, the slow drive-by?
The slow drive-by.
Why is their light still on? It's 9:30 at night. Why is their light on?
But you know what? I would rather have that than go on my phone and go down a spiral, because so what, their lights on, we could come up with a million stories, but we don't know for sure. But we could definitely go down a rabbit hole on social media and pretty much spot on.
Life lesson, guys. If you're breaking up with someone, you block them the next day.
Everything.
Only for like 2 months, only for like a month or two.
Yes.
But block them until you are in your right mind again.
Yes. Unfriend.
Like, it's the healthiest thing I've ever done. It's just like, sorry, we're done. Even healthy breakups where it's like, hey, this isn't working. Agreed. I'm going to block you tomorrow. Don't worry. I just need a month, you know, because otherwise it's not.
It's very unhealthy and you can't actually heal without it. All right. Well, tell everybody where they can find you and everything.
Yeah. So, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Nathan the Cat Lady. Website, www.nathanthecatlady.com. I've really made it pretty easy. Just Nathan the Cat Lady. Pretty much anywhere.
And obviously that name was not taken, so you're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, no, we're good. I've claimed that name. I've got the copyright up there, so we're good on Nathan the Cat Lady.
And how old are your cats?
We got Annie and Princess are both 5, Ginger 7, and Pickles is 9.
Okay, so they'll be around for a while, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, we got plenty more years of Nathan the Cat Lady going.
I think you're going to be Nathan the Cat Lady for a really long time. Thank you so much for coming on. And
thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Yes, super fun. Guys, my name is Jody Miller, and you've been listening and watching to Don't Call Me Ma'am. Don't fucking call me ma'am.